Okay, Claire Bignell from Maison Blanc in Burford.
Okay, and what were you hoping for this year's budget?
Really just some relief for the industry in general. I think one of the biggest problems for me is that we've been hit with a triple whammy. So it's not just the increase in alcohol duty, it's the potential problems that it's going to give us with the recruitment and employment of staff or retaining staff. There's been some relief given for the long-term unemployed and for the possibilities for them in the future, but it doesn't help us in the meantime with staff that we already have employed and with the price increases and things across the board. I think also transport costs and things like that, another hidden cost which is going to get us not only with the alcohol, but it's also going to get us with food and with everything else that we have delivered. So I think transport costs, duty hike, and the no help for the people that are currently employed, I think it is a triple whammy for us.
Right, and what do you think the long-term implications for the entire industry will be?
I think it's very difficult because there are a lot of success stories out there at the moment, and there are a lot of people that are trading well and will continue to trade well, and I think there are a lot of possibilities out there for people that do run their business professionally, and also organisations that can help with that. So I think that it's not all negative. There are some positive things out there at the moment. I just think it would have helped if we were given a little bit more positivity in this economic environment.
There was a lot of lobbying for the tax to remain the same. What more do you think can be done over the coming year?
I think that the government can start looking at the changes that they've already made and the changes that they've planned, and they can implement some additional relief, particularly for the employment of staff, to be able to keep people employed, not just to help those unemployed. I think also to continue to look at transport costs, and I think potentially to look at the VAT problems and the costs associated with all of these changes. One of the biggest problems a lot of licensed establishments and a lot of other companies had last year were the redoing of menus, price lists, changing tills. All of these things were problems that weren't actually planned for. So this whole idea of relief didn't actually work out that way. I think the government have to really think about the implications of all of their decisions before they actually make these changes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm Mike Liston. I'm Tenancy Director at Fuller Smith & Turner.
Okay, what did you think of this year's budget?
I'm really disappointed that the Chancellor seems to have ignored all the calls for leaving the tax on beer alone this year. I think it's a shame that the predictions that the BBPA are making that more pubs will close because of this now will come to fruition. So.
And what do you think the implications will be, the fact that he did decide to press ahead with the tax increase?
I just think it's going to be tougher on publicans. They're going to be forced to put beer up again as a result of this by perhaps 5 pence, 6 pence a pint. And I just think it adds more and more pressure on them. And together with all the red tape that they've been putting up with for the last year, more and more legislation, I just think that it just adds more and more pressure on a very tough industry at the moment.
And what can be done to highlight the plight of the industry at the moment, or what more can be done?
I think the Axe the Tax campaign has been one of the best campaigns that's ever been run by this industry, and I just hope that we don't stop here and we carry on and push on and keep making our claims to this government until they start to listen to us.
I'm Conrad Sturt and I've got the half moon at window shop.
And what's your opinion on this year's budget?
Well, he hasn't helped the trade at all. Further increases are only going to decrease margin or increase the cost to the consumer.
What will this mean for your trade over the coming year?
I would imagine it will push a couple of % down on trade in total and a decrease in margin, which means we're looking to recoup in other ways.
And what do you think will mean for the entire industry?
Well, it might mean that people would look at employing less people at the end of the day. More people might get out of it. It's certainly making it unattractive to become a licensee these days, and it's just generally not helping the industry in any way.
Yeah, what do you think about the fact that Darling didn't listen to the industry this year?
Well, I just feel that's totally arrogant, really. He's got to start realising that pubs are the centre of the community, and that help is needed to keep the industry alive.
And what do you think can be done to bring this more into focus?
Central lobbying, better lobbying from institutions like the BII, and just a consolidated front to try and bring duty down across the board.
Dove Godfrey from Thornbury Castle in Marylebone.
And I mean, what did you think of this year's increase in the alcohol duty?
Very disappointed. Was expecting to see some help for the pub and for the licensed trade. Obviously hasn't come. Again, another budget where it's just given us the right hammering.
Yeah. And what do you think that the long-term implications will be?
Long-term ramifications are going to be make the trading very, very hard. It will increase the closure of pubs up and down the country. I can't see that being stopped. We need to speak up more of a united voice, united body, stand up against these tax hikes and protect the trade.
And what effect do you think it will have on your trade?
On my personal trade, it will make it very, very difficult, both on both sides of the business of wet and with my food.